Thank you for joining us and welcome to Freedom to Create webinar. Why now is the time your hotel can reach its fullest potential in an apaleo and SHR collaboration. Freedom is everything. Hoteliers have been suffering from inflexibility and lack of freedom since before the pandemic, and now is the time to change. Today's webinar is a short 20 minutes. We realize your time is valuable and we appreciate you spending this time with us. If you have any questions or comments, please add these to the chat and we will address these at the end if time permits. And if not, we will follow up after the webinar. This webinar is being recorded and all registrants will receive a link to the recording. My name is Chris Bates and I'm the Director of Operations for EMEA at SHR, and I will be your moderator for today's session. And now I'd like to introduce you to our two panelists.
Good day, everybody. I'm Uli Pillau from Apaleo in Munich. Apaleo is a German-based company, and we have developed a next generation of open API platform, which hopefully will help the hoteliers and the app providers to move forward in terms of new technology stacks.
Yeah, thanks. And my name is Angelo Director. I'm the VP of Design here at SHR. I'm in the office here in Houston, Texas. I'm also a proud member of the SHR Labs team. So we do design and innovation here at SHR.
Great, thank you guys. First question, how real is it right now for hoteliers to meaningfully connect disparate systems without historical hassles and pitfalls?
So let me maybe start with that. I think what we have seen happening since the pandemic started is actually what was a nice to have before has changed into a must. So it has all become very critical, and mainly from two aspects. One aspect is to really become contactless for the hotel guests. So the hotel guests coming to hotels, booking at hotels, arriving, departing, they actually expect to have a contactless guest journey. So this is something for the consumer facing, which has become very critical, and tons of people actually pick hotels because they can provide this functionality today. So this is one aspect, and the other aspect from what I see is really the efficiency of hotels. Many hotels and hotel groups have to work with less occupancy, and not only today, but also for the foreseeable future. So how do you overcome the problem to break even or even make money during difficult times with less occupancy? And the answer of that is really automation through technology, and provide any kind of procedure via technology which is not really necessary to be covered by a human being.
Great. Yeah, I totally agree, Uli. With SHR, we've been in the CRS business for the past 20 years, and we've gone through a lot of painful integrations with other systems, as you know well, with other RMSs, other CRMs. But with us, so with CRS as our main product offering over the past 20 years, we've had that kind of experience in integration and interfacing with other systems, and we tried to make that easy for ourselves. 2 years ago, we launched our RMS, which we call Wave. And then 6 months later, we launched CRM, which we developed ourselves. We call that Maverick. So here we are with these three core products, the CRS, RMS, and CRM, and this desire to integrate, right? This desire to make this interfacing easier for ourselves and for our hoteliers. And so that's what we've done. We've created a product which we call Bridge. And Bridge is an automation platform which interconnects systems and data, our own as well as third-party APIs, and it does so that it can automate processes. So we want to make it really easy for hotels, just like Apaleo with their marketplace and their platform. We want to make it really easy for hoteliers to integrate their tech stack. Of course, we're starting with our own products first. It's a kind of a deeper integration, but we also want to look at third-party APIs, but we want to make it very easy, and Bridge offers this with no coding involved at all. So we want to give that freedom to create to the hoteliers, to allow them to interconnect their tech stack with that freedom.
Okay, well, great. Next question. Due to COVID, many hoteliers have now focused on contactless check-in and related COVID preventive measures to keep guests safe. Can you provide some examples of how hotels have gone above and beyond guest expectation to find a safe stay that's being supported with hospitality technology?
Sure, I'm going to take this on. I think what we've seen in many cases is you obviously have different types of characters of hotel groups and hotels. So I would say there's still a certain market segment or still certain market segments which will rely heavily on personalized services. So if you look at five-star deluxe properties or resort properties, it's a different type of service people expect there and these hotels provide. However, pretty much everybody else is considering to move to a full mobile guest journey. And how far you want to go during that guest journey is really up to what you can embrace, what you want to offer, what your product looks like, and then how fast you can move to more digital and modern technology stacks. And I think the key now is that in the past, getting those systems connected to old and legacy PMSs and provide mobile guest journeys took a very long time frame. It was very cost intensive. So when you look out in this world, very few accounts actually do this in a full manner. And Marriott or IHG or others provide this only to their loyalty members. However, what we are saying is that actually the technology with the open platforms has evolved now to a point where actually any hotel can do that today in a very fast and quick way and very cost efficient. So it's not limited or restricted anymore to the companies and the people that have big bucks, but actually anybody can move and start embracing this. And when I say this incorporates not only the online booking, but also online payment, online check-in, online room selection, and then you walk out of your hotel and get your invoice within a couple of moments into your email box or on WhatsApp or whatever. So this type of providing a full mobile guest journey is available today to anybody and at a very low cost.
Oh, that's great. With regard to SHR, we're focused on guest messaging to provide that safe stay at the right. So with our Maverick CRM, we can segment our guests in terms of where they are in their journey and what kind of messages that the hotel may want to send them at that certain time. So while integrating Maverick to Bridge can monitor for certain conditions that can help promote that perception of a safe stay. So for example, we're looking at APIs from the federal government here in the United States for COVID tracking. We're looking at Homeland Security APIs for TSA checkpoints. We're also looking at keeping an eye on this emerging technology of decentralized identity verification so that people can use their digital health passes to travel more easily. So with Bridge, we can kind of connect to these things and then trigger campaigns in Maverick that can send messaging that's appropriate for the guests. Maybe it's a pre-stay questionnaire or health assessment form, or maybe it's an intra-stay type of alert or warning. But that's how we're trying to help hoteliers create that kind of safe stay.
Yeah, and let me add one point. When we look at what's happening over here in Europe, so speaking more about our markets, what we see is we see all kinds of new accommodation providers popping up all over the place. And these accommodation providers actually cannot be compared to the traditional or existing hotel chains, but what they do is they really are tech-based hotels or tech-based hotel groups. So they structure their entire distribution, operations, check-in, check-out, whatever they want to do around mobile guest journey and the tech stack they are using. And obviously these guys don't want to only use existing apps on the market, they also want to be in a position to develop their own stuff on top of a platform. And you cannot do that in a PMS environment. You need a platform in order to be able to connect anybody, put your tech stack together very freely, and also develop your own software pieces or apps on top of the platform. And I think this is the trick when we look why these guys are so successful, because they use technology in a completely different way compared to the existing hotel groups and hotels that are there today. And this is possible. There are various ways of doing that. And I think that will be the way of doing it in the future. Technology has to come to the hotel and accommodation industry much more than it ever was. And I think whoever stands still and doesn't adapt to these new technologies will run into serious issues in the future.
Great. Well, that leads me into my next question. With so much focus on the new guest experience in the age of COVID, what are some examples, tech strategies being implemented to drive new and different types of demand for hotels?
I think what we are seeing is that obviously the distribution landscape is changing as well. We still have the old and big players, the OTAs, the channel managers, and so on. But over the past, even before the pandemic, over the past 2 to 3 years, we have seen actually a lot of specialized channels popping up. First, I think hotel groups and hotels are more and more doing their own thing. So whereby they relied previously on existing booking engines, for example, more and more people are having more customized booking engines they create or develop themselves. So kind of the trend to do custom work in that area is high, but also other than the existing channels, we also see new channels popping up, and that is on 2 levels, I would say. One level is more direct and specialized channels that focus more on experience, selling packages, selling tours. So a combination of the traditional hotel rooms plus lots of other stuff around experience and what hotel consumers want to see today. So that is one level. And the second level is we also see popping up some new distribution companies that cannot be compared to the traditional channel managers. So traditional channel managers are connecting channels to PMSs. But this is actually not the case anymore, where you have an open platform. Actually, new API distribution companies are popping up that offer a completely different type of functionality and connectivity. And so we see kind of the era of channel managers slowly going away, and new kids on the block that will provide better and more functionality and also be open as possible. Because when you today go to a channel manager and say, I'm a new OTA or I'm a new channel, I want to come on board with your channel manager, they tell you, we have a list of whatever, 100 sites we need to connect. So in 2 years from now, come back and we put you on our development list. And we think the other way around. If you have an open platform, actually any channel could come anytime and direct and connect to this open platform without waiting for anybody to develop any interface or integration or do a certification and so on.
Interesting. Yeah, that's great, Uli. So with Bridge, we're using this open platform for APIs to kind of give hoteliers this ability for monitoring, right? So monitoring for market conditions and being able to react quickly. I think that's what a lot of our clients are asking for, is this ability just to kind of change things quickly, whether it's a rate value or sending out a message or alerting someone that something has changed. So for example, we're developing workflows which allow hotels to monitor production, kind of drops in production, maybe from week to week. Some hoteliers want to know what happened last week at the same time, and their pricing changes rapidly right then and there. Some hoteliers want to monitor their competitors very closely. So we have a rate tracker application that does that, and that can also trigger workflows which change rates or sends out promotions through our Maverick CRM. One thing recently we're working on is the ability for hoteliers to change content on their websites dynamically. So we're developing widgets that allow hoteliers to easily kind of embed content from the CRS right into their website. Maybe it's their promotional rates, or maybe it's certain rates which are specific to a tier or segment in their CRM. So if their website can detect certain types of activity which might indicate a certain segment, we can allow that widget to display rates specific to that segment. Maybe it's a business traveler or a leisure traveler. So it's just one way we're trying to help the hoteliers to monitor conditions and then react quickly.
That's great. It's very interesting. Next question, we have time for one more. With so many hotels trying to do more with less, what are some examples hotels are using technology to automate processes, improving efficiencies, and possibly improving their flow through to the bottom line, providing a better ROI now and for years to come?
So I mentioned before, let's assume you're a typical hotel which doesn't have any mobile guest journey in place. So You can book online, obviously, via the OTAs, but the rest is really manual. So you arrive as a customer at the hotel, you fill in your registration form, you hand in your passport, they take an imprint of the credit card, you are checked in, you get your room key, and then you check out at some point after a day or two. So this is the complete traditional guest journey as it existed and as it exists still in many hotels. Now, I think from there, any hotel can actually go any step. So you don't have to do the full mobile guest journey, but you could say you automate and put online a few of those steps, one after the other, or combined, or whenever way you want to. And that really depends on your product, on your operations, which type of services you still want to offer at a hotel level. And I think the best example we are seeing in terms of efficiency here, we have some groups in Europe which have moved to entirely staffless hotels. And when I say staffless hotels, that means they only have people at the corporate headquarters, a number of guys there that do the core corporate functions. So some accounting, some revenue management, some distribution controls and stuff like that. But at hotel level, there's just nobody anymore. And in consequence, what that does mean is that the mobile guest journey has to be first 100%. And it has to be 100% reliable. There's just no backup anymore at the hotel to take care of the guest. And that in return means that the technology stack you're using as a hotel group in this market segment has to be working 100% all the time, because there is no backup at all. And that tells you, if you're a hotel that want to move to a mobile guest journey, actually you should be looking out for technologies that don't say we might work or it could work, and in some instances it does work, in some instances it doesn't work, but you should be looking out for technologies where you can rely upon that if you want to do it, the efficiency is there to 100% and you can automate it as far as you want. You don't have to, but I think the choice of technology needs to be what is modern and how the modern hotel guest and consumer wants to travel today.
Yeah, our take on efficiency and automation tackles not the operation side, but more the back end office of hotels. So large chains, right, where they're doing work in a CRS or an RMS or CRM, it's very repetitive. And if to make updates, you have to go through literally hundreds of screens just to make changes. So we want to use Bridge to automate those changes. Allow hoteliers to set up logic that allows them to update their rates, or their restrictions, or their inventory and pricing, kind of in automatic ways at regular intervals, or at least notify them of changes. So that's one way kind of doing that. We notice large chains have complex rate loading processes as well. So we can automate that with Bridge, where maybe there's a certain style or a certain calculation that needs to be made to update rates over a period of time, especially as they see market conditions change. So we can allow large chains to make large changes quickly through automation. This week we were looking at other things that could help hotels react quickly. Like for example, with hotel reviews. Like we're looking at an API that could take hotel reviews from OTAs and measure the sentiment of that review, whether it's an angry or joyful or frustrated or happy guest. And they could automate a response quickly to that guest right away using the APIs from the OTA. So that's how we're trying to help with the automation and efficiency with hotels, especially large chains or complex hotel companies. So allow them to monitor and react quickly.
And maybe just from me, a final comment on this is one of the reasons why hotel groups and hotels usually don't change technology, or very rarely, is because they are concerned about the time it takes, the effort it takes, and the investment it takes. So our goal is to say this world has changed. Actually, with modern technology, there should be zero upfront cost. So if a PMS comes today and says for an upgrade we'll charge you 10, 20, 30K just to implement the system, this is ridiculous in today's world. So for me, the professional services and implementation and interface fees need to be zero upfront. So that is an important piece. And also if somebody tells you it's a project of 6 months, I would very much question that. I think new systems can be implemented within a very short time frame online and without going ever to a hotel on site.
Yeah, that's great. I totally agree. I think that flexibility of an open platform just allows hotels to react and change. You know, we're seeing people come and go at hotels. So there's that knowledge which leaves the company. So they need a tech stack that the next person can quickly, you know, take over and understand what happened. How did they do things before I came along? And here's how I want to do things. And that the tech stack can then evolve to accommodate that change. So that's great.
Well, thank you both for your time. I really appreciate your taking the time to join us today. We are out of time. So any questions that we received during the chat, we'll follow up with everybody individually. So again, thank you. And we look forward to welcoming you to our next webinar. And until then, have a great day.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
They actually left.
That's okay. Most people do.
You can stop recording now.